Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Welcome to another edition of Comic Haul, where I take a look at just comics I purchased recently over the past weekend. I had to go into the city, Montreal, and more specifically North Montreal, this city called Laval, to visit a friend, and I had the opportunity to stop by a couple of comic book stores I had never gone to in that city. So one is Heroes Comics and the other one is called BD Cosmos. So check those out if you're ever in that area, if you're a Canadian watcher of the channel anyways, or more specifically even a resident of Quebec. The first thing that you see here is Wildcats #1. Now, kind of a blind spot in my collection. I'm going to start reviewing Jim Lee at some point soon in the future and his comics that I enjoy or enjoyed back in the day. And I realized that I did not have issue #1, and also doing reviews with my buddy Mark Darden. We're doing right now kind of a review of all the #1 issues of Image. In a couple of days, we're meeting up to do the review of Wildcats #1, and I didn't have it. So going through the dollar bins, I was lucky enough to kind of come upon one. Pretty nice, pristine copy for $1. Obviously, it's not a rare book, so it's not something I pay a lot of money for, but I'm very happy to have been able to get it before we do the review in the next couple of days, and eventually when I do the Jim Lee reviews on my own. So there you go. That's why I've got this one here. Super excited about this originally when it came out in the early 90s, right? The very beginning of my comics collecting kind of coincides with the beginning of Image. And so this brings back a lot of fond memories. And great art by Jim Lee. Probably, to me, my favorite period of Jim Lee is when he was working on X-Men at Marvel and early Wildcats at Image. So there you go. So as well, one of the stores, I don't remember exactly which one now, but as well as having the dollar bins, they also had bins full of collected miniseries or storylines, you know, the original published issues you can get for a pretty decent price. And I came upon this here that I didn't actually even know existed. It's a 3-issue miniseries, not a storyline really per se, really just reproducing all of the artwork that Jim Lee did for the X-Men trading cards. So this will definitely come in handy when I do some Jim Lee reviews. I'm definitely going to be looking at this. And I really like that Jim Lee set of X-Men cards. One of the main reasons being he inks himself on those, which I think is great. And the artwork is just a little bit rougher, kind of more exciting, really, and a little less slick than the usual stuff inked by Scott Williams. So it'll be fun to look at these. And as you can tell, the regular price was $15, and I got this 3-issue series for $5. So pretty good deal there. If you follow the channel, you know at some point on a Wildcard Sunday, I reviewed before Watchmen Rorschach at #1, just because I randomly got in the issue. I don't even know if I paid for it. Someone gave it to me. And I've talked about before how I'm kind of the same opinion about Watchmen as Alan Moore, the original creator, and that the miniseries is Watchmen and kind of the be-all and end-all of what it was meant to be. Later on, DC obviously, you know, came out with this before Watchmen. A few different miniseries, right? Rorschach, Ozymandias. I think there's one for each of the characters. I'm not 100% sure, at least the main characters. Always promised myself that I wouldn't look at it because I also thought kind of the be-all and end-all was just the Watchmen miniseries. But having read issue 1, it was kind of interesting, to be honest. I really like the artist as well, so maybe more for the art than anything else. But again, going through the dollar bin at, I think that was at BD Cosmos. I'm not 100% sure, but I was able to find #2, #3, #4, basically the whole rest of the miniseries for $1 each in the dollar bin. So I was pretty happy about that. I guess, you know, they printed a lot of these up and I don't know how much they actually sold or how well they sold. So it seems to be a lot of copies that you can find for pretty cheap in dollar bins. So there you go. At some point I'll be reviewing those as well to finish up that miniseries. Just a random issue of Dark Knight's Death Metal. Only reason I bought this is because it's drawn, at least in the interiors, by Greg Capullo. So at some point, going through the Capullo reviews, I'll be looking at this as well. So that's the first kind of quick stack. Then moving on to the next, we've got the Authority trade paperback, which was on sale as well. Got this one for $5. I thought that was a pretty good deal. The original issues, I haven't looked up, but I remember them being fairly expensive, and I really remember enjoying the storylines in the Authority back originally when they were coming out. One of my friends back then was buying it, and I would just read his copies. And this kind of includes a storyline with Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch, who started off the series. I believe it's like the second kind of storyline of the series that they wrote, and then it was passed off onto a new creative team of Mark Myler and Frank Quitely. So two very kind of solid artists that I feel became more well-known, or probably became popular artists in around the time that they were doing The Authority. Back then, this was a pretty hot series, pretty popular. So glad to have gotten basically both of these storylines by both of these great creative teams at a really decent price. And at some point in the near future, I'll be doing a review of at least these issues of The Authority. I do have the trade paperback for the very first storyline as well, so maybe I'll start there and go through it. And The Authority kind of lost its appeal after Mark Millar and Frank Quitely left the series. I think there's still a few issues drawn by someone else and written by Mark Millar. And then eventually, once neither of those guys were on the series, it kind of started to dip a little bit. So this is kind of the creme de la creme of that whole series. So take a look at that at some point. And just to finish off this video, we're talking about 90s art. This is not literally 90s art, but this is the only kind of modern comics that I'll really get into and be willing to pay money for, basically. One of these issues is just about the same price as the trade paperback I got of The Authority, so pretty expensive comics nowadays. And the real interest I have in this is the Carrie Andrews artwork, which is kind of, I would still say, fairly modern. He can draw, Carrie Andrews has many different styles that he kind of shifts through, but I really appreciated what he did on Spider-Man Reign 2, which I also have to complete at some point. I've reviewed, I think, the first 3 issues. I got to get the next end part issues of the miniseries and finish that off. I actually forgot to ask at both these stores, unfortunately for me, or asked at one and I forgot at the second one, so I don't have those issues, but I did and was able to get the whole Spider-Man and Wolverine miniseries from these 2 stores, issue 1 and 3 in one place, issue 2 and 4 in the other. And just some great Carrie Andrews kind of riffing on the 90s kind of style of artwork that I think is really cool. A lot of McFarlane, but not exclusively. You still got kind of that cartoony Carrie Andrews style in there, mixed in with a bit of McFarlane. It's kind of a hybrid. But like I said, as far as modern comics go, I really, really do like his take on that 90s style in what he's doing today. So liked it in Reign, and looking forward to reading these, and at some point soon, once again, reviewing them on the channel. So pretty cool cover. All covers are just pretty excellent, just action-packed depictions of Spider-Man and Wolverine. And like I said, you can definitely feel the McFarlane influence, but not only. There's maybe a bit of manga influence in there, and Carrie Andrews definitely has his own style and makes it his own. But again, I really do appreciate that slightly retro 90s kind of vibe to it. So, and we're gonna get 2 different iterations of Wolverine's costume. Apparently, the brown and tan, and the original here, but that's a little bit different. So kind of a mix of the original yellow and blue and the newer version of the yellow and blue that was introduced, I believe, with John Cassaday when he was on the X-Men series. So there you go, guys. That is it for today's edition of Comics Haul. If you're still watching and you are still subscribed to the channel, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. If you are not, please subscribe down below. It really helps us out, helps the channel grow, and helps get us out there to other people who are into comic books just like we are. So everyone out there, thanks for watching and have an awesome day. King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KingComics.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby. Like!